Hello.
Hello, Linka.
Yes, sir.
I'm
How are you doing?
good. Let's dive in here and see what you're struggling with. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, but I have a small issue. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so my personal laptop, I don't have the Microsoft access, so I had to do the solvers on another laptop. I was trying to connect from the other laptop, but it's a company laptop, so can we use Teams by any means?
Um, yes. I have Teams on
Maybe I
this
can
machine.
give you.
Let me see here. So instead of going through Zoom, go through Teams, is what you're saying? Would be easier for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see
Should I
here.
give you an email?
Yes. So it'll come from my work email. Um, so let's do this. So create a new meeting here. New meeting, new event. Linka Tutor. Make it a Teams meeting. Invite people. Okay, yes. Give me the email address that will work for you.
All right. Just a second. I just give it to you on this chat. Oh, sorry. Let me just edit something small. Um, all right. So the second one with the
The second one.
dot. Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Copy over to Teams. Esperat scan Kindi. Okay, I just hit send on that. As soon as you see that email come through, I'll close the Zoom meeting and go open the Teams meeting.
Yeah, just a second.
Here, hold on. You went outside? You went outside? No.
Okay, I think it will work here. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, I'm going to try to open the Teams meeting. Up and there you are. So I'm going to close the Zoom meeting.
All right.
All right. We close Zoom. Zoom. In the Zoom meeting. Oop. Meeting for all. Okay, can you hear me in the Teams meeting?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, let's look at what you've worked on first. If you're able to share your screen and talk
Yes, I'm
through where you're
trying to.
stuck, and then my plan is to work 4 problems for you and show you my approach that are going to be it's 4 problems that are very similar to what will be on the final. So if you're able to share your screen, and I'm going to look at some of what you've done so far so I know what I'm trying to help you understand better. Does
Sure,
that make
just give me a
sense?
second. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. So, I will start with, I can start with this question. So, chapter 8, exercise 2.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to, excuse me, I have to open the questions on another laptop because this one is not my personal laptop. So just give me a second. Okay, do you have the question right now, or should I open it? Because this is chapter 2, chapter 8,
Mm-hmm.
exercise 2.
Yeah, so
So
click on cell G12. Let me see what formula you've got in there.
G12,
Yeah, or anything there in that G column.
it's the
Yeah,
X times
that's the
Y.
correct
No,
formula.
sorry,
Yeah.
9.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that looks roughly correct. There's got to be something wrong with this down here, though, for these numbers to be so similar. Just scroll back up to your two DC locations. Okay. Okay.
Should
And
I click on it as well?
yeah, click on this next one, H12. Yeah, that looks correct. Um, and then if you'll click on data and then go into solver, let me see what you've got in solver. That looks like you're approaching it pretty well.
Actually, I was surprised because these ones were, I don't know, maybe I took more time and focused. Can you
Yeah.
see my screen now?
Yep. Yeah, that looks like you're approaching this one correctly. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why it's getting so close to each other. So go ahead and click on solve and see what kind of message it gives. Ah, I see you got max. It's the one thing you had backwards. So click OK. I now see why you're getting a different answer. Click solver again.
Okay.
And up at the top, the objective, you want to minimize it.
Mhm. Okay, okay,
So
I
click
see.
minimize and K25. Yep. So you built it correctly. It's really easy to make that mistake. Now click solve again.
Okay.
Okay. It is not changing.
Mm.
Or is this a
Yeah.
is that an Apple laptop you're on now?
No, this is an HP.
Huh. Okay. Why
Don't
did
know why
that?
it's really close. Should I give you control or something like that?
Yeah. So I can work one like this. So you approached it correctly. Click one of the
Okay.
formulas in column J. Let me see what's in there. Yeah, that looks correct. And then column K. Yep. And then your cell at K25.
It's
Mm-hmm.
25.
Yep. Okay, let's go back into solver again. G.
Okay.
It's less than G28. Yep. Interesting. Okay. I mean, it's you've got it built correctly. So if you understand how you built this one, you're not going to have any trouble. There's a problem just like this on the final. You look like
Okay.
you've got that one down pretty well. let's look at. Do you have questions on this one, or do you feel like you got this one understood now?
This one I think I got it understood because
Okay.
I feel like even on the previous exercise I had done the first question was correct. So I feel like this one I'm quite confident.
Yep.
And you had told me to do
Yeah.
exercise
Exercise
7.
7. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, this was about the hours and the units. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I used the formula as it was on your video. Yeah, here as well.
Yeah. You've got a mistake in here somewhere. Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
so let's start methodically finding where an error is. So variable cost per unit, 18.80, $16, 29.50, and $28, and 21.50. That's all correct. Click on your sum by J18. Okay. So we're going to restrict that in a minute. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Fabrication. Okay, go ahead and scroll down a little bit. Okay, click on your formula in G21. Yeah, so that's the sum. Okay, where in your model? Oh, I see where you're doing it now. So click on your formula on fabrication.
Here?
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks correct. Okay, let's go back into solver. You're getting a slightly different answer. Um, Alrighty here. 18 to H18 greater than 0, E20 to 22 less than C6 to C8. Yep. G21 to H21. Ah, so you're oversupplying. You got one mistake and a constraint here. So in your solver,
Mm-hmm.
click on your
Mm-hmm.
G21 to H21 greater than or equal to G22 to H22. So that's the so if you
Okay.
make this kind of a mistake on on an exam, I'm not going to take any points off. So what you've done is by saying greater than or equal to, you're oversupplying what your demand is. Your demand is only for 20,000 and 10,000, but you're supplying 24,000 and 14,000. So click the change button and change that greater than or equal to just to equal to.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Click OK. Max and hit solve.
Okay.
Yep. And click OK. And that matches the solution that the textbook claims is correct. But because the wording in the problem is a little unclear, there's no way I would take points off for that small mistake. That's the only mistake you made on this one. So do you feel like you understand how you built this model?
Well, to be honest, when I used your videos, I could, understand the steps. But if I was to start from scratch, like, um, I think I have to learn like the way you were saying, maybe let's put these numbers, maybe, or the way you're putting things together. That's maybe how
Yeah,
what I need to get it explained.
yeah, I understand. Um,
Yeah.
and it can be challenging, but this you built a great model here. You had a very small mistake that gave you a different answer than the book claims. But like I said, if you make that type of mistake on the exam, I'm not taking any points off at all. Now,
All right.
now let's go ahead and go to the tab for part B. What the next step is, and I forget exactly how the book words it. I gotta look at the book.
Same. I'm so sorry.
Nine, seven.
I think I was about to change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually C where they start changing numbers. So let's, well, and you changed some stuff that you shouldn't have changed here. So the sum of the buy, so your purchase constraint stays the same. So let's fix a couple of things real quick and do actually what was
Okay.
in the problem. So in cell I-18, where you have sum by, leave it at 20,000.
Mhm.
You had changed it to 30.
Here?
Yep. So change that back to 20,000. Yep. And let's go into solver and fix that greater than or equal to again. Yep.
Here?
Yep. That's the one. Change it and make it an equals to. Click OK. Yep. And then solve. Solution. There we go. Okay. Now what it was asking for is to change the
Mhm.
constraint of fabrication. So if you scroll up, originally there in cell C6, the fabrication limit was 2,000. And what it asks in part
Mhm.
C is actually where it asks for it is
Is
what
it
if you increase it by 10%?
10%?
Yep. So just
All
change that
right.
number to 2,200, so it's 10% larger. Yeah, did you do that in the
Yes.
part C?
I think I changed it here. I came and changed the constraint here on the C. Anyways, let me just do it here.
Yeah, you were confusing yourself. So I've seen people make the same mistake you were over there, but just right there in C6, just change that to 2,200. Make it simple on yourself, okay?
All right.
Okay, now go back into solver and just run solver again. And hit solve. Okay. Yep. So here's what the book was wanting you to see. And I want you to see this because it's on the exam. Do I have one? No, I don't make you change the constraint. There's a problem very similar to this on the final where you're trying to decide how much of different things to make. Okay. This one's a make or buy question. The one on the exam is just 3 different items that you're going to decide how much of each to make. But in this case, you can see if you click back on part A tab and see what your solution was there, you can see that
Yeah.
the most profit you could make was $298,000, and it was the mix of 6,000 electronic units made, 10,000 battery units made, 13,000 electronic units bought. Now click on your Part B tab and see by changing that by 10%, you can now make $301,000 profit, but the mix of items that you're making has changed a little bit. That's how your profit went up
Yeah.
because you had 10% more fabrication capacity. All right, let's copy that.
Yes.
Let's copy that Chapter 9, Exercise 7 tab. So
Mhm.
do a move or copy.
Here?
Yep. And create a copy and drop it, before your original Exercise 7 BC. So yeah, click that one. Let's drop it right in between there and hit OK. All right, now
Yeah.
here's where we get to look at it a little bit and see where we are.
Mhm.
you realize that you also have limits on shipping, etc. What if you increased that fabrication by quite a bit to see how much more you could get before something else became the constraint? So let's change that fabrication constraint right there. Let's make it 3,000 just to see what happens. So just change that
Here.
to a 3,000. Yep, right there. And go back into Solver and run this again. And hit solve. Let's see what we get. Okay, now what you can see on the page, fabrication got as high as 2,500, so you didn't use all that 3,000 you put in there. Assembly is at 4,000, which is lower than that 4,200 in your constraints, but shipping has become the constraint.
And this is the same.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you did a really good job on both of these problems from Chapter 9. So I'm going to go back in and revise your homework grade for Unit 2, showing credit for these two problems because you did them right. You spent real time with the videos a little too late. I think you underestimated how much time it was going to take, but you've now learned how to do this, and this is a good model.
All right.
You didn't quite
Should I
understand
send you the?
Yeah,
Should
when we
I
get
send it to you?
yeah
The new
yeah
one? Okay.
yeah when we get
Okay.
done talking today, send me this file, and I'll revise that grade. And now, to get ready for the final, spend a little more mental energy making sure you really understand how you did, the Chapter 8 exercise, what was it, 2, and the Chapter 9 exercise 7, because you did these correctly. And there's going to be a problem just like both of these on the final. Have your own file, this one, ready to look at when you're working the final, because
All right.
it may still feel like you're not quite getting it, but you're getting it. This is correct. This is a good model. You misinterpreted what the book said a little bit, but like I said, on the exam, I would never take anything off on that. So this is good. You got Chapter 9 figured out. All right.
Thank
You want to
you.
look at the 2 from Chapter 10?
Sure.
And I don't want to work one of those. Oh, I love it. Yep.
So
Click.
this was chapter 10, exercise 2. This was the first part. I don't have the questions right now,
Yeah. So
but
you did this right. So click on C27. Make sure I see how you built that formula. Yeah, your objective.
27.
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's the simplest way to do it. And then click on Data Solver. Let me see how you populated Solver. It should be very simple. Yep, exactly. And you didn't fall into the same trap on the constraints on this one. You exactly supplied what you needed. You didn't oversupply it. So that's perfect. Let's look at part B and see if you built added the constraints in a way that makes sense.
This was part B.
Yep. So something is off. Let me look.
Okay.
It's super close, by the way. You did good.
Thank you.
I gotta look at my. Okay, so only in the book, only supplier 2. Is that who's limited? Sorry, I'm gonna find the problem. I don't remember what it asked exactly.
No problem. No problem.
10.2. Yeah, so only supplier 2 gets constrained to the 25,000. And spend. Okay, let's click in Solver and figure out where we got an error in here somewhere. C24. That's correct. H19 to H23. H26. So it's you're double constraining. Um, your model is attempting to constrain every vendor to 25,000. It was only supplier number 2. So your formula that you have there in solver
Oh,
for I-19 through I-22 is less than or equal to I-27. Click on that one and let's change it. And you only constrain the total eaches from supplier 2. So it's I-20 is what should be in that cell reference. Right there.
okay.
Click OK. Click Solve. Okay.
Right.
I
What
don't know why Solver
happens?
does that sometimes. It does it to me too. It makes me crazy.
Oh, I thought it was my laptop.
No, it's a quirk in Excel. So that is the answer that the book was looking for. That type of a
Oh, yeah,
mistake where
this.
you accidentally over constrained it, I might take like a half a point off. So try your best to read carefully what's being constrained because you didn't need to try to constrain everything. So what you can see here now is that supplier 1 is supplying a lot of material and you're hitting your spend limit on supplier 1 and supplier 5 is no longer being used at all. Okay. So that's where I would want you to, to try to interpret that, adjust your comments a little bit. So before you turn this homework in, change your comments to match this revised solution we just did. But again, really nice setup for part A, very good setup for part B, just one tiny mistake. All right. You can do well
So,
with that. Do you feel like you understand how this one is structured?
so does that mean that in the comments I should say that the supplier to match the maximum allowed and that
Yeah,
the
so just
supplier one
yeah,
was
one of the
more?
biggest observations I would want is, hey, now that you have these constraints, compare the answer
Mhm.
in part B to the answer in part A. So once these constraints were added, supplier 1 became the supplier that got a lot of the stuff. So if you click back on the part A tab and see who was supplying what,
I,
yeah,
right.
as soon as you had constraints, it forced you to have to start buying a few things from supplier 4. So in the original solution,
Yes.
4 and 5 both didn't do anything. But now that we have a constraint, supplier 2 has a limit on quantity, and supplier 1 is limited by spend. It forces you to spend some money with supplier 4 that you didn't really want to in the first place. And it drove up your
Mm.
cost. So your total cost went up as well. So you did a good job in your comments already. Hey, the spend was 4.7 million before. To spread between vendors, total spend is de-optimized, and now it's de-optimized to 4.8 million. Once we fix the one mistake you had, so you're already making good comments, good progress on this. Just think back through this before you turn this homework set in. And fair warning, the problem I have you go double back on this homework set. I have you do chapter 9, exercise 14. You're going to get frustrated working that one before you turn it in, but only like 10% of students can figure it out. It is a very tough problem. So be aware of that. So when you're struggling with
No
that one,
way.
when you
Okay.
struggle with chapter 9, exercise 14, everybody does. If somebody gets
Oh
it
my
right, I
God.
assume
Okay.
they're an analyst for their day job.
Okay.
Which what
All
are you
right.
planning to do with your master's degree? What line of work are you trying to go into?
Oh well, when I chose it, I didn't have a specific one because right now I'm actually doing an internship in a bank.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so and it was more in business and credit. But the more I studied the master's. I'm like, oh, now I want to start those projects.
Right.
So, yeah,
Very cool. All right, let's look at this next one here.
sure. So that's chapter 10, exercise 4. I was about to say verse 4. All right. So this one, yeah, I
You got
think
it.
I even.
Yeah, I don't know what comments you put on it, but you built a good model, and that is the solution. Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, and you did something smart here that makes Part B easier to do. You showed your shipping cost and your production cost separately, so you can see, shipping as a percentage of your solution doesn't make very much of the decision for what you buy from who. Cost of production is way more. So click on Part B. Let me see if you nailed that too.
Hopefully.
It's the right solution. You did it
Um,
exactly the way I would do it. So I
all
like I
right.
like the way you did that, where you added a column so you can see what you changed, and then you just pointed solver at the new column. So let's click inside a solver and make sure you did it in a in an elegant way, because sometimes you can get the right solution, but you make yourself work too hard to get there. Yep, you equaled the supply K16 to K19. Yep. Yep, that's all perfect. You did this great. Do you feel like you understand? So, my opinion is chapter 10 is easier than
Mhm.
chapter 9. That once you get to these decision arrays, you're, it's a lot easier to find the solution. It's also a lot more useful in business. But you did fantastic. Do you feel like you understand how you built this one?
Yeah. Um, this one actually, it was kind of easy because building the cost of production, I was using the formula and the equation, so it wasn't really complicating
Yeah, you did
because
great.
the question was quite clear, if I can say.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So a lot of times on these tutoring calls, I'll look at what you're doing and then I'll work a problem for you. But I tend to lay the
Mhm.
problems out a little differently than you did, so I actually don't want to do that. I'm afraid I'm going to confuse you, especially on chapter 9. But you did these correctly. I mean, do you feel like you have any questions? So the four problems that you just walked me through, the final exam is four problems long, and it is problems just like those four. So if you feel like you understand this and you feel like you can recreate it, under the pressure of an exam, you're going to be fine. I don't have a part A, part B. So the chapter 10 exercise 2, I just give you the constraints right up front. I think on the exam. Look, let me make sure I'm not telling you something wrong there.
All right.
Whoops. Where did I put it? Yeah, I'm on my work laptop too, and I cannot find a thing.
Sorry, those are the dogs.
Um, yep, there's a. Oh, I told you wrong. It is truly a make or buy. So just so that on the exam, um,
Mhm.
there's a problem just like chapter 9, exercise 7. And it just asks you, which process is your bottleneck, which process is stopping you from being able to make more. So on the homework problem, it was the fabrication process. This one, you'll have to decide, which process is stopping you. There is a problem just like Chapter 8, Exercise 2, where you've got to locate 2 distribution centers. There is a problem just like Chapter 10, Exercise 2,
Okay.
with 1 constraint. And there is a problem just like Chapter 10, Exercise 4, that is a mix of shipping costs and production costs. So if you feel like you understand these 4 that we just worked on, you're going to do fine on the final exam. What I'm going to ask you to do, so after we're done here today, send me the 2 problems that you reworked from homework unit 2, and I'll raise your grade on that. Finish working the homework for unit 3. Make sure your comments are really robust on the 2 that we've done so far. So I think you've got, Chapter 10, Exercise 2, Chapter 10, Exercise 4, Chapter 10, Exercise 7 is maybe a little tricky for some people, but I think you'll do fine. And then Chapter 9, Exercise 14 is extremely tricky, and you're going to get frustrated. But there is not one like that one on the exam, so don't panic when that one's frustrating you. Just do your
All
best.
right.
You're going to be okay.
Do you have any video maybe for the chapter 9, exercise 14, perhaps? Because those videos are really helpful.
You know what? I don't have a video. It's designed to challenge, what your thinking could be. Tell you what I'll do though to help you with that one. I'll lay it out on an Excel sheet, and man, I may have one that's got tips already built into it. You know what I think I do? Recent tutoring examples. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let me see here. Over copy, create a copy, move to end. Okay. You know what? That's not what I meant to do. Over copy. I'm going to move it to a new book. Okay. Let's do this. So let's switch who's sharing. Let me share. I'm going to share.
All right.
Allow. Share that screen. Is that the one I want to share? There we go. I'm going to move that over there. Okay. Can you see this Excel file?
Okay, yes, I can see it.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure you get this one right. So I want you to pass this class. I want everybody to pass it. It hurts my feelings when I don't feel like I can get through to somebody. Um, yep. This is 14. Okay. So this is the. Why is it doing that? Go away. So the problem in the book is this. You've got a boat that you've got to load.
Okay.
Oops. So I'm just going to work it for you real fast.
All right.
So you have a boat, you have tons of commodities available, the volume per ton, the profit per ton, and then you have some constraints, the weight capacity by hold on the boat, the volume capacity by hold on the boat, and then the maximum minimum that the center portion of the boat can be, and the difference from the forward to the rear that's allowed. Okay, so that's the things that it does. Something that hopefully you've been doing, it's not obvious when I look at it, but a lot of students don't put dummy values in their decision variables to start, and it makes it hard to then know, whether your formulas are working or not. But
But I have a question, sir. How, like, which range of variables that's like the data that you can, use the dummy data? Like maybe
that's a good
if
question.
you
So
have this data.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm,
the 15s I put in there are actually kind of silly. So since I know my weight capacity is on the order of thousands, 3,000, 5,000, 2,000,
mm-hmm.
it's probably smarter to put numbers in here that add up to be something closer to that. So you know what? You asked a great question. So I'm going to do something better here and say, okay, at the moment I've got 4,000 tons in the forward hold, which it can't quite hold. I only have 4,000 in the center, which it can hold easily. So that's better dummy values. So try to put dummy values in that you think are roughly in the range of what the solution might be.
Yes.
So I'm going to say I need to calculate, I've got a profit contribution that I'm going to have here from everything that's loaded. So I loaded 3,000 tons so far of commodity number one, and I know that its profit per ton is $70. So I'm going to hit enter. So it's going to contribute 210,000. Okay. I then know
Okay.
what I've got here for all the other items. And if I sum the profit contribution of all four together, that right there is my total profit. That is my objective function.
Yes.
And I'm going to want to maximize that. Okay?
Yeah.
Now I've got some constraints I just have to start thinking through. If I know I put 3,000 tons in this of commodity one in here, it's going to create a certain volume and have a certain weight. Let's do this first though. We know we only have so much of each commodity available. So the sum of the commodity, if I'd done these in the opposite order, I could have one formula reference the other one, but I didn't do that. Because I know in a minute I'm going to want to make sure, I'm going to highlight the things I'm going to put constraints in blue so I find them quickly. I know that I only have this amount of each commodity available, and I've loaded this into the ship. So already, even without using solver, I see I've got too much of commodity 4 on the ship. I don't really have that much. Solver will catch that for me. Okay. Now let's start thinking about things we have to calculate. We're going to have a rear load, a center load, and a forward load. This is how much we've put into each one, because we know that, whoops, we have a limit, okay? The weight capacity of the forward hold is only 3,000, okay? So that's going to be a problem in a minute, okay? So I'm going to highlight that blue so I don't forget. We're going to have a volume. Okay, I know how to do it. So I've got these amounts of each commodity loaded. And we know that the volume per ton for each one is here. Okay, and I'm going to copy this in a second. So I am going to anchor the data table so it doesn't move. I keep doing that. Yep. I know that's going to be a constraint in a minute. Okay. What else do I need to have ready?
Sorry, so I didn't catch that. So you pasted 17,175,000?
Yeah, so what this
Okay.
is I did a sum product of how much of each commodity I loaded into the rear hold with the volume per ton, and it calculates the volume that's in that hold. So let me change one of these just so we can see a different number. So if I change that quantity, now I have 2,000 of commodity 3. It calculates a different volume.
Oh, okay.
So I'm calculating the volume that I put into each one. Now my other constraints, the center hold, and this is in the weights, the loads, must be between 40 and 60% of the total load. So I'm going to say a center percent of total. And what that is the center load divided by everything I put on the boat, right? And
Yes.
if I show that as a percentage, I'm going to color it blue because it's a constraint I'm going to use in a minute. And then forward percent difference from rear. So it's got a balance constraint. I've got to be within 10% balance from forward to the rear. And this is where even students who get close on this problem make the one mistake that they make. So if I know that my forward load is this and my rear load is this, I can't just divide forward divided by rear. That would be percentage of. It wants to know the percentage difference from the rear. So I'm going to say forward load minus the rear load divided by the rear load. Okay? See that formula? That'll be the percentage difference. If I show that as a percent, and because I made all my dummy values match, it doesn't show any difference there. Oh, that's right. And one more thing, because I don't want to deal with a negative, I'm going to use the absolute value command. And what that does is it shows the percentage, and it scrubs things out to be all positive. All right, so there we go. I think I got all the constraints built in. Whoops. Dismiss my meeting that wants me to join in a minute. All right, let's populate solver. Solver
So in the decision variables table, you can put like a different values, the dummy values.
Yes. Yeah. So you can, in a problem like this, where um, I've got several calculations that are very similar to each other, after I build a formula, I might want to go back up here while I'm still building my model and change one of these to see if all the numbers changed here the way I expected to see them change. That will let you find a mistake before you get too far down the road on something. So by adding a
Okay.
whole bunch more in there, no surprise, that percentage difference changed by a lot. And if I'm saying to myself, okay, I've got 5,500 in the forward hold now, and I'm curious whether this formula down here is working the way I want it to, I might say, okay, and the rear is 4,000. I'm going to change this back to something else so it's really close to the rear. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, 3,700. It looks like it's about 7.5% difference from 4,000. Okay, I feel good about that. So I'll fiddle with the numbers a little bit as I build the model. But yeah,
Okay.
so I'm going to go to Solver now, and my objective is this profit. I want to maximize it by changing the cells, all 4 commodities and all 3 holds on the ship. And now I need to start adding some constraints. I know that the sum of commodities must be less than or equal to how much of each commodity I have. Okay, and I know that how much I put in each one of these holds must be less than or equal to, oh, I built this funny, I cancel for a minute, I'm going to close it. So, because I put rear on the left and forward on the right, and over here forward to rear was top to bottom, I built this backwards. So in order to be able to compare this the way that I want to compare this, I'm going to I know that my rear load constraint is 2,000, my center load constraint is 5,000, and my forward constraint is 3,000. So if I'd have thought through this better, I could have done the better job of this. I know that my rear volume constraint is 120,000, my center volume constraint is 150,000, and my forward constraint is 100,000. So all I did was take this data table and copy it over here. Otherwise, Solver was going to interpret my attempt incorrectly. So now I'm going to add, all right. I know that these loads that are calculated must be less than or equal to the constraints the book gave us. Add that. I know that these volumes that are calculated must be less than or equal to the constraints the book gave us. I'm going to add that this center percentage of total must be less than or equal to 60%. I'm going to add this calculation must be greater than or equal to this 40%, and add that this absolute value forward percentage difference from rear must be less than or equal to this 10%. Click OK. I'm going to stare at it for a second, and we hit solve. That is correct, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, now, I don't want you to spend a bunch of energy trying to recreate this particular problem. What I'm curious to have you do is just put some comments on it to get credit for it in your homework, okay? So, this, okay. I'm going to move or copy, create a copy, move to the end, okay. And then what does the book actually say? to do. 14. All right. Rename. Okay. So in the book, it says, hey, if you wanted to make more profit, and you could expand one of the holds on this ship to make more profit, which hold would you expand? Which constraint would you change by how much, and what would you do differently in order to have more fit on this ship? So if we look at it, the rear is as loaded out as it can get in weight. The center is already pretty close, but it's not limited on weight. And then the forward hold isn't limited at all. In terms of volume, the rear is not limited, but it was in weight. The center volume is maxed out, and the forward's a little off. So what the book is wanting to say is, hey, if this was your business, what would you change on these constraints? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to claim, hey, since the ship can hold 3,000 in the forward, I'm going to change this one constraint to 3,000 in the rear also. And then I'm going to say, hey, in the center, I'm going to change the constraint on volume so I can fit more there. I'm just picking an arbitrary number. I'm just going to expand it by about 10%. So I'm going to call it 165,000. Okay. And there's no 100% right answer. So I'm going to click Data, Solver. I'm going to solve it again. Click OK. And you can see now the center is maxed out in both volume and load. The rear is not maxed out. So I'm looking at this a little bit and I'm saying, it's still balanced. So what if I can make the whole ship a little bigger? Let's change this one too. Why not? Let's have a little fun. And let's make this even bigger. And run it again. So that's the concept of that part B. So to get full credit for Chapter 9, Exercise 14 that I just worked with you, all I want you to do is comment on it, okay? Don't recreate it. It'll take a lot of time. But look at it. I'll send it to you right after we get done talking. Look at how I built this. Look at what the profit is and how full the holds are. And then we picked a few of these to expand, make some comments. Hey, if the rear could hold more weight and the center could hold more weight and more volume, then I can make an additional, whatever that is, $45,000 in profit off of this boat. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can do where you should spend your energy. So resubmit the 2 from Chapter 9 that we worked together today, and you did great on those. Finish Chapter 10, exercise, whatever it is, 7. It's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. You can get it based on what I saw you do at Chapter 10 otherwise. And then we already talked through the 4 problems you worked for us to meet today. That's the 4 problems you're going to see on the final. So I think you're going to do great.
All right.
You feel pretty good about it?
Yeah, I feel a bit confident now.
Good. You're going to get it.
All right.
Any
Thank you
parting?
so much.
Yep. And I am, I'm pretty sure I got this session recorded. It takes a while to upload to YouTube these days, but I'll upload this meeting we just had so you can reference this as well. And I'll send you this file that we're looking at right now. And then you send me those 2 problems you reworked from Chapter 9. I'll raise your grade on that, and then you're ready to study for your final and finish Unit 3 homework.
All right. So you will send me this. I will put my comments, and then I will do the Chapter 10, Exercise 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you're good.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, wonderful to talk to you. Hopefully you feel better about this, and we'll get you through this class.
All right. And can I schedule with you my exam date or is it too early?
Yes, you can. Send it to me in an email, or I'll lose it. But
Okay, no problem.
it is plenty time to go ahead and schedule that. So wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I bet for you it's in the afternoon. Here it's already at night. So
Ah,
have a lovely afternoon.
hey, thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't realize you're one of my folks on Kigali time.
Yes, Kigali.
Outstanding. All right. Well, wonderful. Have a good day. It's good to get to see a face.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you.
All right.
Have a lovely day as well.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.